Career Opportunities is a masterpiece of modern cinema, an absolutely groundbreaking film that revolutionized filmmaking for years to come. Terminator 2 doesn't even come close to the genius presented in Career Opportunities. The choices made in the film are outstanding. Overall, oh fuck me. Now, I know what you're thinking, and yes, it would be easy to accuse me of only liking this film because Jennifer Connelly is in it, but it's not because she's in it, okay? My enjoyment has nothing to do with the fact that Jennifer Connelly is in it. It might be because Jennifer Connelly is in it. In all seriousness, Career Opportunities is a film that makes you say, yeah, it's a completely fine and adequate film, and that's pretty much all it is. Heck, I'll even admit that if it weren't for the novelty of you-know-who, there's every chance that I would never have watched it. Of course, this film also has the distinction of being Jennifer Connelly's only comedy film ever. You see, according to a French magazine I picked up in Basel Airport whilst travelling from Germany, Jennifer Connelly once said, "On me propose plus de rôles dramatiques que comiques," which roughly translates to, "I'm an obnoxious tit who only stars in drama." The film also stars Frank Whaley, aka that guy in Pulp Fiction. His character starts off pretty annoying in this film, but ends up being likeable towards the end. Maybe that's character development, maybe it's good acting, or maybe I just stopped caring enough to mind. Jennifer, on the other hand,
I like living at home.
No, you don't.
Jennifer scares me. So our story follows Jim Dodge. He's a sleazy, no-good liar who's always out to make himself look the best. The film opens up with him getting fired from his job at the dog kennel because he pretended to be a detective in front of an audience of dogs. Wait, what the fuck does that mean? Jim's dad is disappointed at his son's lack of work and gives him the choice to either work at Target or be shipped off to St. Louis to work for his uncle. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, we catch up with Josie. Sorry, was that supposed to be Josie's sexy reveal? She looks like she's about to renew my library card. I mean, what is that sweater, girl?
It's not a sweater!
Shut up! So in an act of rebelling against her father, Josie decides to kiss one of these disgusting businessmen. And is it just me, or does this kiss look like it's being composited together? Clearly this film isn't high art enough to justify kissing a crusty old businessman. Double-ended dildo on the other hand? Jennifer's got you covered. So old Jim rolls up to Target feeling fine, ready to start his new job. But as it turns out, the job isn't quite as gracious as Jim expected. The film actually did the good, the bad, and the ugly music. The film did the oldest joke in the book. God damn it! Meanwhile, Josie's attempting to steal a skirt from the very same Target as part of a master plan to show up her father. Things are looking to be quite unfortunate for Jim, as it turns out his job involves being locked inside the store all night. It's probably illegal, but hey, who cares, it's Jim. And so begins Jim's long night of cleaning, and looking like a twat, and cleaning. Okay, Jim, for real, my dude, it's impossible for anyone to be this clumsy. Right now, you look like one of those idiots in an infomercial. Has this ever happened to you? Tired of cleaning equipment making more mess? So Jim decides cleaning is too much work and spends the rest of the night goofing around, all of which culminates in him roller skating through the store in just a vest and shorts whilst wearing a veil. You know, the usual thing you do when you're bored. However, whilst enjoying himself, Jim spots something out of the corner of his eye. As it turns out, Josie chickened out from shoplifting and instead fell asleep in the dressing room, so now she's locked in the store with Jim.
It's a long, dull, self-indulgent, highly unromantic story about a completely confused girl. Looks a little like me.
Ah yes, and so begins the repeated theme of Jennifer being unnecessarily scary in this role. Meanwhile, we learn that Josie's father has teamed up with a police officer to go look for her. And on top of that, the two thieves from the paper at the start of the film are working their way towards Target to commit a new robbery. So Jim goes ahead and actually cooks a full meal for the two of them to eat, and leads the conversation with his riveting opinions on pepper.
I happen to really like it a lot. I think it enhances the natural flavor of the chicken.
Unfortunately, his second conversation starter isn't any better.
I've had dreams about you.
Spat, Jim, spat.
I've had dreams about entire cheerleading squads.
Stop!
Do I dream? It's about all I do.
Jennifer, this isn't some fine art house drama, okay? You're in Career Opportunities, aka the film where this there guy here dunks a full-on chicken leg right into some peanut butter. Comedy. Josie and Jim spend their time relaxing on some deck chairs when unfortunately Josie reveals to Jim a nickname he didn't know he had.
You're the town liar, right?
Jim, as you can imagine, gets very defensive about this.
But if people are calling me that, it's only because they're small, cheap, petty, and jealous.
Also, Josie manages to make me feel really uncomfortable.
My father controls my life.
And I think someone needs to ask Jennifer just to kindly stop, maybe?
And you're happy. You know, you're happy.
Like, how about you don't? Now Josie begins to experience an early midlife crisis, which leads to a heavy and very weird conversation. Her intense scariness ends up being too much for Jim, who walks off in a massive strop, which lasts all for about 2 minutes until they are reunited in the best dance scene to ever appear in cinema. So despite Josie's intensity, both her and Jim manage to reach a place of common understanding. Yeah! And through this, a plan begins to form. You see, it turns out Josie just casually has $52,000 in her purse. You know, just trivial spending stuff. You can buy a coffee or maybe an island. With this, the two of them could run away from their crummy lives and head to LA. However, first, Josie has a proposal.
How can I pay you back for being so cold to you in high school? Up my ass.
Turns out, though, that Jim's request is a little more PC than you might expect.
For 3/4 of one verse of a slow song, we danced together. Well, I just always dreamed of finishing that dance.
And so the two share a lovely little awkward dance number whilst the police roll up with Josie's dad. He bangs on the door and Jim's like, "Hey, what you talking about? Ain't no Josie here." Meanwhile, the two thieves have arrived at Ross Promo and begin to sneak in. And this leads us into one of the only scenes in the film anyone remembers. I wonder why. So Jim and Josie have a great time skating around to Betty Boo. You know, the obscure early 90s rapper who I'm like, secretly a massive fan of? Don't judge me. I must admit, however, this scene ends in pretty much the only joke that actually made me laugh in this film. Well, now Jim and Josie attempt to cover their tracks and hide from the criminals.
Did you want to be on top?
Oh no, I'm just fine right where I am.
You know, at moments like these, I'm starting to wonder what Jennifer Connelly's paycheck for this movie looked like. So they get caught and we're introduced to what might be the campest criminals I've ever seen, plus some of the best camera work I've ever seen.
Somebody better start talking straight.
Also, this guy tries to fill up Jennifer's boob with his shoe. You know, you take what you can at times like this. Thankfully, Jim begins using his line skills to fool the criminals into submission. I could have done so much better than this.
Roll.
Whoa, I take it back. This film is a perfect 10. Well, Jim's lying skills prove successful as he scares both of the criminals and manages to disarm them as well. Also, poor Jennifer gets thrown around a lot, but hey, I'm not complaining. However, in an unfortunate turn of events, the criminals manage to outlie Jim and get their guns back.
I lied.
And with this, we move into the most infamous scene from the movie. Turns out Jennifer has a plan up her, sleeve, as she is able to seduce the criminals into taking her with them. First, however, they proceed to clear out the store to some forgotten 90s tunes. Meanwhile, poor Jim is left weak and defenseless, and even his best efforts to stop the criminals are just not enough.
Jim! Don't be an ass.
Oh man, wouldn't be a Jennifer Connelly movie if she wasn't just a fucking arsehole. So Jennifer gets into the criminal's car while they load up all the extremely necessary equipment. Whoa, looks like Jennifer had a plan in her bra after all. Or wait, no, on second thoughts, I don't think she is actually wearing a bra, is she? So Jennifer speeds off and Jim springs into action, grabbing the custodian's gun. Is that how you say that? Custodian? I don't know. The thieves burst in to stop him, but...
Attention, Target shoppers.
You could have killed him, Jim! That shot was about 1 inch away from taking his arm off. And so the morning rolls round and we see Jim has tied up the two criminals for the police to find. How exactly did he manage to tie up two people who could have easily overpowered him? I guess that's just the power of guns. Meanwhile, Josie and Jim are all kitted out, ready to head to LA. And for some reason they stop in the middle of the road only to look around and then get right back into the car. Okay, but all looks well as we see Jim and Josie now living the good life relaxing by a swimming pool and oh my god! Look at them teeth, girl! You know what, I kinda dig it. Also, the Hollywood sign changes to say Jim Wood. Jim Wood? We'll have to spend a whole night hanging out with a solid 15 out of 10. I'm not surprised Jim's got wood. Hey, can I get a high five? Can I get it? God, I'm so lonely. And that was Career Opportunities. It's got its high points. It's got its low points. But overall, yeah, it's alright.